This is Once Missed, a Riley Paige mystery, Book 16, written by Blake Pierce, narrated by Jane Mcdowell. Prologue. Laurie Tovar pulled her car into the driveway of the house where she'd lived for most of her life. She stopped the engine and just sat there staring at the charming, three-story dwelling. A familiar phrase went through her mind. First to arrive, last to leave. She smiled a bit sadly. She'd heard people say that a lot about her. Working as a nurse at South Hill Hospital, she was known to take longer shifts than anyone else. She often filled in for other nurses' absences, while seldom taking any time off for herself. It wasn't that she felt especially diligent. It was just that, somehow, working long hours came kind of naturally to her. She murmured those words aloud. First to arrive, last to leave. The phrase was the story of her life in more ways than one. She'd been the first-born child out of 4 to live in this big, once happy house. During the last few years, her younger siblings had spread out all over the country. And, of course, Dad had simply gone away. Nobody had seen that coming. Laurie and her brothers and sister had always felt as though they'd belonged to a picture-perfect family. It had come as a shock to all of them to find out otherwise a couple of years ago, when Dad had left Mom for another woman. And now, here Laurie was, the last child left in town, so always the one who came around to check in on Mom. She'd stop by at least once a week, maybe take her out for coffee, or just sit with her and talk, and do her best to cheer her mother out of spells of deep sadness. Last to leave. Laurie heaved a long sigh, then got out of the car and walked past the immaculate, terraced plants and shrubbery toward the front porch. She stopped at the mailbox and opened it to see if there was any mail. The box was empty. Laurie figured Mom must have already checked it, which might be a good sign. Maybe it meant that Mom wasn't slipping into one of her bouts of extreme apathy. But Laurie was dismayed that the door swung open when she turned the knob. She shook her head. She must have told Mom 1,000 times that she needed to keep the door locked, even during the day, especially now that she was living alone.